Hey, come closer. Yes, you. Do you want to make money in EVE Online that some players are leaving on the table? I've got the guide for you. Sleeper caches are avoided by many exploration players, and sometimes that's because they don't know the rules to these lucrative sites. So I'm going to share with you a step-by-step guide on how to take on the superior sleeper cache and walk away with your ship intact. EVE Online is too big to explore alone. Let's explore it together. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Lynn Rankin. I've spent a long time in New Eden, and I'm here to share with you what I've learned and continue to learn in this amazing game we call EVE. Today, we're going to be continuing our exploration series, talking about how to make millions, if not billions of ISK in loot. In this video, we're going to take on the big brother sleeper cache, the superior sleeper cache, which will put a nice little bow on this chapter of our exploration series. Then we'll take on some truly dangerous exploration sites that make these sleeper caches look like they belong in Exordium. On screen is my buzzard fit. You can pause the screen to read it or use the link in the description to use this fit. It can do just about every exploration site except for the Aegis and SCC sites. Those will be subjects for our next series of exploration videos. But for today, we're talking about the superior sleeper cache, which I will refer to here on out as either site or cache to save me some words and sanity. To start, this is a level 5 exploration site. This means you need some pretty decent skills and fits in order to scan these down, and your probes need at least a scan strength of 104 in order to scan it down. If you are close to scanning it down, but you're already as low as the scanner will go in scan radius, hold down the control button and use your scroll wheel to physically make the probes move closer together, which will tighten the scan on some peskier sites. You can also save this formation for later use. After we scan down the site, we can go ahead and warp to it. You're met with the same hack we need to make in all sleeper caches in order to access the site. We have 2 attempts realistically. On a success, we will spawn a rift to enter the site. On a fail, we have 60 seconds to get a success on our next hack before the site disappears completely. If you notice that the gate has already been hacked successfully and the rift is already there, it is recommended to see if anyone else is in local, if you see any ships on your directional scanner, and to check a website like zKillboard and look up the solar system you're currently in to see if someone has died to turrets or gas clouds. It can still be risky to go in if nothing shows up on zKillboard, so it's up to you to risk it at this point. It's very important to never cloak inside these sites. It will cause them to despawn after a few minutes. When you take the rift, you will want to see how far you are warping near your HUD. If the warp distance is 31,000 kilometers, you're heading to the SolRay Room first as your first room. If the warp is 62,000 kilometers, you're heading to the turret room as your first room. In this instance, I'm being sent to the turret room first. EVE University will have you take the rift next to you and run the SolRay Room first. I prefer to do the turret room first since my nerves are still fresh and it will run in the background while we do the rest of the site. When you arrive in the turret room, first make sure you are ready to warp out if the rift was already open at the entrance. Someone may have triggered the turrets and they're still aggressive. If you see a wreck or the turrets start attacking you, warp out and move on to a different site. If they're not aggressive, we can proceed with the site. You will notice a remote defense grid unit. We want to approach it slowly and keep range of 5,000 meters so we don't trigger the turrets by accident. They are proximity activated. By hacking this, we will turn one of the turrets over to our side and it will start shooting the other turrets, and the other turrets will be hostile to it. What we need to do is immediately turn on our micro warp drive and hack the sentry repair station nearby. This will repair our friendly turret and keep it alive while it picks off the enemy turrets. I was a little slow here, so it was a little close, and you can see that our friendly turret was pretty low on health, so speed is of the essence here. Once the sentry repair station is hacked, we can leave the turret to do its job while we take the rift to the SolRay Room. When we're finished, the turret should be destroyed. In the SolRay Room, there's 3 locations here. There's the back room, which will lead to the mine room. The center is where the SolRay observational unit and damage cloud is located. And on the right, we have the rift, which will take us back to the turret room. If there's other explorers in your area, you'll notice there's a storage depot between the observational unit and the turret room rift. Hacking this or any loot container will cause the signature to disappear from the probe scanner. Then the only way someone can get to you now is by combat scanning you or your mobile depot. Before we proceed further, let's place down our mobile depot here and bookmark it. Now we're going to hack the SolRay observational unit. On a successful hack, this will give us a disk that is either infrared, gamma, or radio. We need to place this disk in the corresponding SolRay container next to each of the rifts in this room. In this case, I got the infrared disk, so I'm going to put it in the infrared can next to me. This will reduce the damage that comes from the cloud around the SolRay power terminal, and it will allow us to tank the damage and get to the containers inside. Swap your micro warp drive for an afterburner, since this will make sure that we can move fast while also negating the damage because our signature is not bloomed because of the micro warp drive. And then we're going to go ahead and start hacking the containers. When our shields get low, go ahead and afterburn your way out of the cloud. Let your shields recharge, and then go back in as many times as needed to hack the remaining containers. Now, enough time should have passed that we can go loot the turret room. By taking the rift next to the gamma SolRay container, we'll end up back in the turret room. When we enter, the remaining turrets should be dead or about to die, and we can go ahead and start looting the depots once they're all dead. A few things to note now that we're spending a little longer inside of this room. Do not go near the plasma chambers or attack them. They explode with enough damage to kill battleships. Keep enough distance between you and the cans nearest the plasma chambers. Only get close enough to hack and loot them, and make sure the plasma chambers are as far away from you as possible. Now that we have cleared and looted the turret room, we can take the rift back to the SolRay room, where we're going to tackle the last room in this site our buzzard can take on. There is another room, it's called the archive room, and is accessible in the turret room when you hack the hyperflux generator in the center of all the depots we just hacked and looted. The archive is an incredibly dangerous room and requires a very specifically tanked T3 cruiser or Nestor battleship to run. It can be done in an exploration frigate, but it has to be done perfectly and you cannot get too greedy. One mess up, and it's over. Speaking honestly, it may just be better to skip this room if you're not confident in your skills yet. I personally don't run these since the extra ISK in that room specifically, I don't feel is worth the risk of losing it all. I will be doing a video specifically on this room later to see if the Odysseus Sisters of Eve battlecruiser can do it, or if it will heroically die trying. Subscribe so you don't miss it. The final room we will be doing in our buzzard, back in the SolRay room, is the mine room. This is accessible by going to the rift near the SolRay radio container and hacking the remote rerouting unit next to the rift. You can take the rift right behind us and the SolRay observational unit, and it will warp you straight to the SolRay radio container and rift. If you fail to hack the rerouting unit, it will reroute the rift back to the turret room in the center of all the turrets. There's no danger for us since the turrets are already cleared out, but we can continue retrying our hack until we get a successful hack. There's no penalty for repeat attempts. It will reroute the rift to seemingly nowhere inside of the SolRay room. Make sure to have your data and relic analyzer and your afterburner equipped before you take the rift to the mine room. Once you take the rift, welcome to the mine room. You will notice a beacon. Approach it slowly. When you're close enough, a remote defense grid unit will appear near us. Approach it slowly and hack it. This will cause mines to decloak around you, as well as storage depots we can hack and loot. If we fail to hack this, the safest thing to do is to warp out as quickly as possible as a precaution. Be extremely cautious when navigating around these mines. They have a very fine trigger on them, and you will want to maintain a distance of at least 15 kilometers from any mine. If one detonates, it can cause other mines nearby to explode as well and cause a chain reaction. In addition, not all mines are visible. There's still invisible mines as well. When you get to the depot, go ahead and hack it and collect the loot inside. Up to 4 containers can be found inside this room, and you can decloak them by carefully maneuvering around and attempting to find them. If you trigger a mine, don't risk proceeding further in the mine room. Just warp out and then warp back to your bookmark to your mobile depot to get back to the site. Depending on your risk level, the mine room may not be for you. Now, save for the archive room, you did it. You just looted the most profitable and safest parts of the superior sleeper cache in an exploration frigate. Here's the loot we gathered on screen, and this is about average for the site. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, but this is about average. Yes, like I mentioned, there is the archive room we did not cover, but that is because you need to put a lot more ISK on the line and need battleship level tank to do it comfortably and completely. We will be doing a video specifically on the archive room, and we're going to be doing it in the new Odysseus, the Sisters of Eve battlecruiser to see if it can do the archive room. Subscribe so you don't miss it. We have a few more exploration video ideas to do, including the Aegis capital ship security facility. But I've recently discovered that some of these Aegis and SCC sites are also fairly combat oriented, so I'll have to make a few adjustments to our plan, but we'll jump that gate when we get to it. YouTube thinks you would like this video on screen now. Were they right? Give it a watch and find out. Consider liking, subscribing, and using my creator codes to show your support for the channel. Thank you to my amazing YouTube and Patreon members, and welcome to our newest members, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.